Yo, 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 it's the Bleacher boys. Don't call it a comeback, but we are
Yeah,
back for the first time in like a month or so. Gav, bro, how you been?
man, been good. Been all over the world, it feels like. Between baby showers, weddings, just trips in general. Little known, we should have brought our cameras out there and filmed a little bit, but me and B got out and played a little bit of golf
Yeah,
together. So, man, it's been fun, man. I've just been enjoying life, just one day at a time and trying to just make the best of each day. So, got a couple more trips coming up that I'll have to keep you updated on. I'm gonna actually get to go out. We swung tickets for Green Bay and Dallas. So we're gonna
nice,
go to Jerry World. Yeah, so I
nice.
get to go to Jerry World this year. So with the missus being a Green Bay fan, we're gonna go out there and make the best of it. So I'm excited, man. What about you? What's up?
Actually, some of the same. We have a trip planned to Atlanta, and we're trying to see a Falcons game. So we're gonna be either there on the 7th. I think they have a home game, or 22nd.
Okay.
So I'm leaving it up to my wife to find tickets. Thankfully, she's a ticket snob like me, and she will only go for good seats no matter what venue or event we're trying to see. So she's like price surfing every day to try to find good tickets. So as soon as we get those bought, I'll let you know, and we'll
Yeah.
try to link up. 'Cause I think we're gonna do 4 days, 3 nights, something like that there. So we'll
Okay.
we'll we'll have a day to get in some golf, let the ladies meet, and we'll maybe go out to eat. We'll golf and maybe go out to eat or something after. And then we want to go. I want to take her to the aquarium, World
Mm-hmm.
of Coke football game. And then I have an uncle that lives in Lawrenceville to try
Okay.
to
Yeah.
see him on one of our last 2 days before we head back home.
Yeah.
But I'll keep you updated on that. And since next time we will golf at your place, and we'll definitely try to get some footage there.
Yeah.
Try to do like an on golf course podcast or whatever. But just been playing golf, man. I actually finally got some new wedges
Okay.
and not wedges, irons. And I
Okay.
got these same length irons. So all my irons are the same length, just
Okay.
different lofts.
How you like it so far?
I've played with them 3 times. It's a slight adjustment, but I actually
Yeah.
love it because it's the same swing, but so the only thing I need to do is tomorrow I'm going to Vantage Point to get on the track, man, just to dial in the yardages for each one. Because
Yeah.
right now I'm just kind of swinging blind because I have no idea how far they're launching, but they're launching more flush but actually good height. So I just need to dial those in. But so far I love them. And I got the fat grips on all my clubs now.
Yeah, I know.
So no
Yeah.
more forearm, no more wrist pain, and I'm loving it.
I know we've talked about that, so I might have to look into it. We went to the PGA Superstore, but I got something I'm eyeing up right now, new putter wise. So yes, we'll see. I want to go test a few out and go see what I think about them. But we'll see. So I'm
Yeah.
excited. So we'll
I
see how it
actually
goes.
scored. My father-in-law works at the golf course here where we live in town, and a guy left an Odyssey mallet putter up there. It had been up
Yeah.
there for like 2 weeks. Guy hadn't claimed it, and he showed it to me. I was like, "Hey, this is mine now." I was like, the guy ever
Yeah.
comes back, I'll bring it back, no problem. But that's been like 3 weeks ago now, so I got a brand new Odyssey putter.
Yeah, well, now you just talked about it, so now he's gonna come up there. Hey, I saw this cocksucker. He's got my putter. I need it back.
It's got a Spider-Man grip on it and everything. So I'm like, man,
Yeah.
it's sick.
Oh
All right.
yeah.
All right,
Well,
but
let's get it going.
let's jump into it. We are on the precipice of the football season. We had some college action. While I was at the bar and grill yesterday, we were watching some high school games. St. Thomas Aquinas was playing Mater
Matter.
Dei on national TV yesterday. There was another high school game. I hadn't heard of those teams. Watched a little college ball too. So football is here, but we're here to talk NFL. Maybe next weekend we should throw in a little college football because I know you're a little bit bigger college football fan than I am.
Yeah.
Kind of fallen out of the loop just because coaching all those years. Just I never got to watch football for like 6 straight years, coaching all those years, so it was kind of tough. But anywho, so what we are pretty much at the end of preseason now. So
Hmm.
let's start off with 3 things from preseason that have been highlights for us. I will start out. First one, it's not necessarily the most, probably my second one, unless you steal it. It's probably been the thing I've seen the most. But Cam Ward as a Titans quarterback had looked very legit. He's made some big
Mhm.
throws, some tight window throws, some off-platform throws. He seemed to be just in command, under control. He's been getting in fights with teammates and joint practice fights. So it seems like Cam Ward is just ready to take the reins and be the modern day Steve McNair for the Tennessee Titans. What about you?
Yeah, no, I'll stick on that same kind of rookie quarterback train. Jackson Dart.
Yeah, that was gonna be my second one.
Yeah, Jackson Dart. I mean, and we had this conversation, and people can, you can fact check me and go back and, call me out if I'm wrong. But we said in the draft, I thought that he was probably the better talent. I eat those words, but I think that him and Cam Ward were definitely by far, hands down, the top two quarterbacks coming out of this draft class. And I think that, yeah, I mean, Cam Ward, I saw where he got in the altercation with the Anthony Simons.
Yeah.
And they're like, so what'd you
No,
like?
no,
What
Jeffrey Simmons.
or Jeffrey Simmons?
Yeah.
Jeffrey Simmons. I'm thinking basketball, but yeah. And he's like, what'd you think? And he goes, he's strong as shit. Like I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Like, he's strong. But I like it, man. Cam Ward, the guy I have a ton of respect for. At first I didn't think he was gonna do much. I don't know why I couldn't buy the stock. I've bought the stock. I think he's legit. I think he's gonna be really good there. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. But yeah, no, going on to the Jackson Dart, I think he's got the chance, and the Giants have a chance to be something. Maybe I don't think this year, but I think they're maybe 2 years out, maybe a piece or two on the defensive side of stuff, and I think they could be there for sure.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I actually think, for one, I think he's going to save Brian Dable's job. I think that's going to be a draft pick that saves his job. Two, because I think they're going to have first, second, or third best defensive line in the NFL this year with adding Abdul Carter, and they already had like 2 first-round draft picks on their D line.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 before Malik Neighbors last year. Actually, I think next year they go like, depending on where they're drafting, but if they can draft a top tier offensive tackle to solidify their line, or maybe get a guard in like the second round to solidify their line, and then add a weapon maybe in the second or third round, probably going to need a running back. I think Tracy Jones Jr. is going to be a very good running back for them next year, but I think they're going to need to protect him and get him some weapons in next year's draft, because I think their defense is going to win them the few games that they do win this year.
I'm just not crazy about their secondary. I think they need to
I agree.
solidify the secondary,
Yeah.
and that's where I think if they add a piece or two in the secondary, I think they really become more of a threat. Because I will agree with you. I think their defensive line is solid, but that secondary is it's a little suspect at times.
Yeah. Especially in that division. I mean, you're going to be playing against A.J. Brown and Smith. You're going to be playing against CD and George Pickens possibly, and then Washington has, good pass catchers, but you'll be going against Jaden Daniels for the next 10, 12 years. So I agree. If they have a top 10 draft pick, which I think they do next year, they either need to go best offensive tackle or probably best cornerback that you can get off the draft board.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and then I think my only other takeaway is kind of the drama going on in Cleveland right now with Shador and Dylan Gabriel. I don't know if you saw Dylan Gabriel's comments. I think it was about maybe coming up on a week, but basically he said, there's athletes and then there's performers or something like that.
Yeah,
And it almost, yeah, go
let me
ahead.
clarify that.
Okay, go ahead.
So I watched the whole interview, and
Okay.
if you only caught the clips on social media,
Mm-hmm.
they took it out of context.
Okay.
So, because he said there's entertainers and there's competitors.
That's what it was.
And what he was actually alluding to was the circus in the media around Cleveland, saying that the people like he was basically saying the Stephen A. Smiths and the Colin Cowherds and Nick Wrights, they are entertainers trying to make this QB Brown situation way more than it is, but none of them are competitors, and none of them know what it takes to be a competitive athlete, let alone an NFL quarterback. So what he was actually saying, because they actually followed up and asked Shador, and Shador was like, he wasn't talking about me at all. This is a non-issue. And Dylan wasn't talking about Shador at all, but people jumped to construe that into a more drama than what it needed and meant to be.
Yeah, let me just stir the pot over here, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stir the pot over here too. Come on. I want people to think there's drama over there. But no, I just thought it was interesting because it could have been taken
Yeah.
definitely out of context. But it is interesting. And when I say the drama, you see Shador's final outing and it wasn't very good. And I know we're going to kind of get into all that here in a little bit. But I think those two things are going to be very interesting. Jackson Dart in New York, as well as the quarterback room in Cleveland, are two things that and of course with your Cam Ward, I'm not going to steal yours, but Cam Ward in Tennessee, I think all three of those combined are really good lines to watch throughout the year.
Yeah. I'll since you stole my Jackson Dart one, I'll throw my next. I have three that I'll throw all of them, but I won't say on any of them. The next three that stood out to me was Simmons, the Chiefs' first-round draft pick, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. He's held his own in every preseason game. Even he's done some like crazy athletic wild stuff, kind of looking like Penei Sewell out there. So if he's a top 15 offensive tackle this year, it's going to be very good for Mahomes. And that's all I'll say about that.
Okay.
Trey Hendrickson has looked really explosive for the Patriots. And I actually think the Patriots are going to have, which is going to help Drake May. I think the Patriots are going to have one of the better running back rooms in the NFL last year because Ramondre Stevenson, I had him on fantasy last year, had a very productive year, especially for what that offense was providing. And you add Trey Hendrickson with some explosiveness, he's not going to have to be out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be able to get special teams touches, probably swing him out, put him in a slot a little bit, maybe some Jahmyr Gibbs type stuff. But he's just a guy, get him 10 touches, he might take one to the house, almost every game.
Yeah.
And then the last one is that really, from what I've seen, maybe you've seen something different. None of the first round running backs have really stood out at all in preseason.
No.
Genty had like the one run over, but Marion Hampton, I haven't really seen anything pop from him. RJ Harvey, I know he's had some solid runs, but like and maybe they just aren't getting the rep, but nobody's really stood out or had highlights from the running back room from all the first and a half, first and second round draft picks this year that were rookies. So
Yeah.
as having a lot of rookies last year in the NFL pop, Bucky
Mm-hmm.
Irvings, Tank Bigsby, those kind of guys, it'll be interesting to see what cream rises to the top on
Yeah.
that.
No, and I'll say this too, yeah, real quick. And these are two that I thought of. The one thing, and we both said this, the kid out of New Orleans, and I can't think of his name.
Taylor Shuck?
Not a fan.
Yeah.
Like the fact that New Orleans is still sitting down there and the QB1 is still uncertain. That's a bad look. If you're a Saints fan, you're hating your life right now because you don't know how it's going to shake out this year. So that's kind of uneasy, if you're a Saints fan. And then the other one is the quarterback room in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
With, you have Anthony Richardson, and don't get me wrong, I'm a Florida Gator fan, but, I just don't get why you're still holding the door for him. It's like at some point, like he has to want to walk through the door, and I don't get. Even when he was at Florida, I didn't get the vibe that he. And listen, I don't want to speak on people, and I don't know them personally, but being athletes and playing at a high level, you always know the guy that's got that little bit of dog in him, and like you just can tell, like that guy wants it. I don't see that out of him, and I didn't even see it at Florida, and so it's kind of it's one of those things where it's like just move on, Indianapolis, and go, because I think their receiver room is pretty good.
Yeah.
And you're gonna trust Daniel Jones to lead it, and it's like, what are we doing here? So there's definitely some storylines that are gonna be interesting through these first 5 weeks of the season that you're gonna be like scratching your head on.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if there's a Trey Lance aspect to Anthony Richardson and he's not traded by week 3. Because Shane Steichen,
Yeah.
the head coach already said Daniel Jones is the quarterback for the season. He didn't say to start, he said for the season.
Yeah.
So I think they're kind of out. They're like, hey, this is a Trey Lance situation. We moved up, we drafted him early, we swung and missed, we whiffed, and now we're going to pivot. Maybe we get a 4th round draft pick out of it, and then, let's look forward to next year's draft.
The other one that I could see, and I don't think it would be sending Richardson to them, but some pieces for it, and this is kind of my hot take, is a Kirk Cousins to Indianapolis
Yeah,
trade with Michael Penix looking how he's looked this year,
yeah.
and even to end the year last year. So yeah, so it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm excited.
I bet my only thing about Kurt, because I was going to bring him up later, is I think because Kurt still has all the leverage when it comes to a trade because he has a no trade clause.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kurt is going to wait for a season ending injury to be like, hey, I want to go to Los Angeles Rams, or
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to X place because this quarterback's out for the season in week 2 with ACL, and Kirk can go start for a whole year. And because the price tag you're still, even though his guaranteed money is a lot of it's paid out, the price tag you're paying for a trade like that is still high enough where you need to be committing to Kirk for the rest of the year.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So yeah, it's interesting, but
Yeah, I like all of it. So, with that being said, let's transition into a segment I'm calling What's More Likely. So, I'm going to go through 5 scenarios, and you could tell me which 2 out of each scenario is, or which one out of the 2 scenarios is going to be more likely. First one, what is more likely? Jackson Dart starts 5 games, or Joe Flacco finishes the season as a Cleveland Browns quarterback?
Jackson Dart starts 5 games.
Gotcha. I would definitely agree with you on that.
And I say that with go ahead.
I was gonna say, although the last time the Cleveland Browns made the playoffs, Joe
Yeah,
Flacco was the quarterback.
that's true. I think it's more likely because of what you said earlier to start this thing off. Dayball, Jackson Dart is Dayball's ticket to keeping a job in the NFL right now. So it's going to come down to you start the year 0-2. There's going to be rumblings, and Russ ain't going to get it done. I don't think. And I like Russ, but I don't think he's getting it done. I think you got to go with Jackson Dart at some point, and I think he will. I think he'll end up starting. I'd venture off to say like 7, probably. I'd say
Yeah.
7. He starts 7 of the games.
Yeah. I could see him in there sometime around Thanksgiving, which would leave him like 6-ish games left in the season.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is more likely? Cincinnati Bengals make the playoffs or the Pittsburgh Steelers win a playoff game?
Steelers win a playoff game.
There you go.
Steelers win a playoff game. And the reason Whew. I am buying a little bit of stock in the Steelers, a little bit. The Bengals, it's just the defense. The defense still is up in the air. It's still, what are you going to do? I think it's going to be another thing where Joe Burrow is going to have an exceptional year and they're going to have to sling the rock, but you can only take shots so many times before you got to stop somebody. I mean, you can't go into every single Sunday thinking, hey, we're just going to outscore them. Like, it's tough. Like, you got to go out there and get a big stop, whatever it might be. So I would say the Steelers winning a playoff game over the Bengals. And I think it's going to be one where the Bengals fall a game short.
Yeah, I agree with you just because an argument a lot of people like to make against the Chiefs is, well, the Chiefs won 11 straight one score playoff games, or one score regular season games last year, which was the NFL record. Like, oh, well, nobody can keep that up. Well, if you keep that same thought process for the Bengals, you would say it is very hard to replicate a quarterback season like Joe Burrow just had, even playing from behind to have to do that back-to-back years and score 38, 37, 35 points a game. I mean, very few quarterbacks have ever done that. Holmes has never done it back-to-back years. He came close. Tom Brady never did it. I think the only quarterback who's done it, I think, if I'm saying correctly, I looked at this earlier in the week. I think Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers are the only 2 quarterbacks to go like 4,400 yards, 40 plus touchdowns, and
Mm-hmm.
under 12 interceptions, like back to back years. And both of
Yeah.
those, one of those guys won back to back MVPs, and the other guy won MVP and then got second place in MVP for the next year. So I'm with you on that one. All right. So the next one, what is more likely? The Patriots make a wild card playoff appearance,
Mm-hmm.
or the Chargers finish last in the AFC West?
Ooh. Ooh. Are more likely to make a wild card. appearance than I think the Chargers are to finish dead last. I think the Chargers will be a little bit better than dead last. I don't think if you go are you following me here? I'm kind of using your words
But
against you. I see what you're saying. I see what
yeah,
you're saying. I see what you're saying. I'm just using your words against you. But I do think that the Chargers are not going to be that great. I don't think it's going to be that great of a year for them. But I see it more likely that the Patriots are going to
yeah,
make a wild card game.
yeah. I'm pretty. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it, but
Hmm.
I'm pretty bullish on the Patriots this year. Maybe I think I'm a big Mike Vrabel believer,
Yeah.
and even though when you look at the raw stats, Drake May's year last year in the games he started really wasn't that great.
No.
Your eyes tell you that there's a lot there, and they
Hmm.
spent a lot of money in solid places on the team overall. So he's
Hmm.
like, man, the Dolphins might finish fourth in that division this year, and the Patriots have an outside shot. If the Chargers are down, if the Bengals are fighting till the end, if you always have to put in injuries. You always see one or two big injuries for a quarterback every year. So I'm just more bullish on the Patriots making the playoff. Although I think there could also be two teams out of the AFC South, which everybody likes to poo-poo the NFC and AFC South, but AFC South could have two teams as well, as bad as their schedules are, between the Jaguars and the Texans. Because a lot of people are still very high on the Texans because they're probably going to have a top 2 to 4 defense this year too.
Hmm.
If they can just keep CJ from leading the league in sacks, the dude is very, very solid.
And be honest, I'm keen on the Broncos too.
Well, yeah, yeah. I wasn't throwing the Broncos in there because everybody
Okay.
has the Broncos as a top 4 or 5
I see
team
what
in
you're
the league.
saying. I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, so you think, because I'm just looking at it, I mean, you're thinking that the Raiders are going to be better than the Chargers this year?
I think it could be a tie, and
Okay.
the tiebreaker could go to the Raiders. Because I
Okay.
think because people forget, like, the Raiders are getting a very, very solid coach in Pete Carroll.
No, hey, listen,
Yeah,
I'm behind you. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I don't see I don't
And
know. I don't know.
Gino Gino is not a top 12 quarterback, probably not a top 15 quarterback, but he is a significant if Gino replicates the year he just had last year for the Raiders, and which is a huge upgrade from Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, like, that team is probably at minimum 4 wins better.
Yeah, okay.
So they go from a 3-win team to a 7-win team, and maybe they're battling for 8 or 9 wins this coming year, which would put them battling for third place.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, let's see. We have 2 more here. All right.
All right.
What is more likely, the Eagles make it back to the NFC Championship game or the
Okay.
Cowboys have a winning season? Be careful because this will be segmented out and sent to our fantasy
Yeah.
football league.
Yeah,
We guys are
no,
Cowboys
I
fans.
and I'll be honest with you, I don't think people realize how hard it is, first of all, to make it to to make it to a Super Bowl, but second of all, to make it to that NFC championship game. Like, I don't think people understand that, or to any championship game in general, AFC, NFC, it doesn't matter. I think it's more likely that the Cowboys have a winning season than it is for the Eagles to make it back to the NFC Championship game. I just think that's more likely of a scenario to happen because it's hard, man. It's hard to make it there. I mean, any given Sunday. I mean, they made a movie about it. So yeah, I would take and I'll be honest. I like the Cowboys this year. I'm not like, oh, I don't like them. I think they're gonna suck. I mean, I can buy a little bit of stock there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, we're talking about a winning season just being 9 wins.
Yeah,
And, I
yeah,
mean, they had all the injuries last year, and I think they still have 7 or 8 wins, and we're
hmm,
in the playoff picture till, like, week 13 or something like that.
yeah,
Oh, healthy Dak, add in George Pickens. If George Pickens is 60 catches, 7 touchdowns, 1,000 yards as your number 2, I mean, that's a dynamic offense with Ferguson coming back being healthy this year. I think the Cowboys can definitely have a winning season this year. Not saying they'll make the playoffs, but a winning
no.
season is definitely on the board.
I agree with that, and I think, I mean, this could be a whole segment in itself, but what's going on right now, I don't know if you've kept up with any of it or seen any snippets of Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons, but it's kind of, if there's truth to what Jerry is saying, which I'm unsure, I don't know, but if there's truth to it, it's kind of sad because if you have you and the player and you're supposed to be on the same page, and who knows with Jerry? I mean, Jerry's Jerry.
Yeah,
But I think you put him in that mix, and I think it's probably maybe a 10, 11 win, 12 win season for them.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I'm taking.
All right, last one. What is more likely, Trevor Lawrence or CJ Stroud wins the AFC South?
Trevor Lawrence.
All right.
Trevor Lawrence. I like Cohen. I don't think your average fan understands that he was behind the Bucks last year and a lot of their success. I think there are some pieces down there that are going to really, if they're healthy, if everybody stays healthy for the Jags, I think the Jags, we're watching them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
I am, and that's a test. I mean, you've got me to buy stock into them.
Yeah.
More so Trevor Lawrence, but yes, you've gotten me to buy stock in that, and I am all about. I will take the Jags in the South.
All right, brother. Well, that wraps up that segment. And with that being said, let's move into some
Yep,
fantasy talk. So, what do
let's
you
do
got
it.
for us?
So, man, the first thing here: price tags that you are not willing to pay for players in fantasy draft and their ADP. Who are you not willing? There's a couple that stand out to me, and I can start, and then I can let you have the floor. And I can, whoever you bring up, I can bring up their ADP. But first one is Puka Nakua. I am not willing to pay that price tag with the uncertainty that is Matthew Stafford right now, and a backup in, I believe, Jimmy Garoppolo. Correct?
It's actually more like because Jimmy's like dealing with a small injury himself. So, they've actually been propping up Stetson Bennett a
Stetson.
lot.
Okay. Yeah. So again, I mean, even then, even less. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not willing to pay that price tag in any, mock drafts that you see or anything coming out. He is a late first round. I would take him in the second, but I'm not taking him as a first round price
Yeah.
tag. So that's the first one that pops into my mind. The other one is CMC, not willing to pay the second round price tag for him. I've even seen some where people are taking him still in the first. I guess Derrick Henry doing what he did last year has a lot of people thinking that CMC can do it, and I just think it's totally different bodies and specimens. So CMC is my other one. And then the other one, this is kind of a hot take, and don't get me wrong, I like this guy. I'm just not willing to pay the price tag that he's going for is Baker Mayfield. I think it's an inflated price tag after the season that he had last year. I think losing Cohen to Jacksonville is going to hurt. Godwin not being there, although I do like Emeka Ibuka. I am a fan of him and his game, but I think a lot of it is going to flow through Bucky Irving and, oh my gosh, I can't think of their RB2.
Rashad
White, I was trying to think. And so Baker's the other one that I'm not willing. I'm seeing where people are taking him in fourth, fifth, even. I can't buy that stock just off of 1 year. And I like Baker. I think he's good. But those are the big three ones that stand out to me. But what do you got, man? What are you sitting on?
CMC was definitely one on my board. He was one I called last year. We didn't do this last year, but like to anybody who I could talk to in the gym or the barbershop or whatever gym I was going to, I was like, man, it just like, well, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I have a firm belief that when a guy finishes top 2 in his position or top 5 in his position 2 years in a row, that third year there's going to be a drop off. Just the NFL is just too hard to replicate. Of course, there's always rare outliers out there, but it's far and few in between, whether it's injuries or if his receiver, his quarterback goes down or whatever that the case may be. It's hard. One I've been staying away from if I have the first 5 picks in the draft, maybe first 7 picks in the draft is Saquon.
Okay.
He does have an injury history very similar to Christian McCaffrey's. They do have an offensive lineman that's already down and could be down for a while. Dominant tackle for them. I think their left tackle went down. And they lost Mekhi Becton to the Chargers this
Mm-hmm.
year in the offseason, and he was a dynamic guard. He's like a 6'6", 350 guard for them, which that's oversized for a guard. I think their offense is going to be great, but is Saquon going to rush for 2,000 yards again? Don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Is he going to rush for 1,800? I don't think so. And then Jalen is a touchdown. Jalen and Josh Allen are two of the biggest
Yeah.
touchdown pirates in the NFL.
Yeah.
And there could be a lot more. There isn't any data that would scare me away from them not continuing to be the main goal line threats for their respective teams, which means Saquon could even score less, because I want to say half of his touchdowns last year were 20 or more yard runs last year. And again, that's another thing that's going to be hard to replicate, was all those 30, 40, 50-yard runs he had last year, which was like 40% of his running back production. So Saquon is one that scares me a lot. He's not a first 5, 7 draft. I could think of easily 7 guys to take before him for that price tag. There's not really.
Give me your thoughts on Etienne from Miami. Are you willing to pay the price tag, or would you be willing to pay the 10th overall price tag for Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving,
So
Chase Brown?
my thing about Achane, he's a touchdown machine similar to Kyron Williams. You don't got to worry about Tua stealing any rushing touchdowns from him,
No.
or anybody else in that team for that matter. So he is a touchdown machine.
Huh?
My worry is the Miami Dolphins defense is terrible. And when your defense is terrible, you don't get to run the ball a lot, and you're behind and you're throwing the ball a lot. So while I feel like he could be a double-digit touchdown guy, he would have to be a high production in the first half kind of guy. I currently have the Dolphins being 4th place in their division this year.
Yeah.
So normally teams that are in 4th place in their division don't have good running back production, because you're normally throwing the ball a lot. 14th, I mean, that's in a 12-man league. That's basically the second pick in that's in the second round is probably the highest I would take HN.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got
Okay.
another one for me?
Tyreek. We'll stick with the Miami train.
Yeah, Tyreek is another one. To be honest, I'm more likely to take Waddle over Tyreek, just because
Okay.
Waddle runs so many screens and skinny posts, and Tyreek does too, but Waddle is better over the middle in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched some of the Dolphins. I watched 2 of the Dolphins preseason game with Tua was playing, and it's still a lot of 10-yard and under passes. So again,
Yeah.
you're asking Tyreek. I don't think Tyreek is at the point in his career where you're throwing him a 5-yard slant, he's making a guy miss and taking it 7 yards again. I think he's still one of the best deep threats. But again, if you watch Dolphins games, you watch a lot of Waddle and Tyreek beating their man by 4 steps and then having to turn around to catch the ball, because Tua just can't air it out like other quarterbacks do. Oh, Tyreek is another guy, first round. I'm not touching him no matter what.
Yeah. No, I've seen he's slotted at the first position. Let's see here. I'm looking for other I'm looking for other people that are just standing out to me here.
I'll give you another guy that is a number 2
Uh-huh.
that I would take almost just as high as the number 1, and that's the same thing you mentioned earlier, because it doesn't matter what team he's on. I think he's just a great route runner, great hands, and that's just moved to the Rams.
Devontae.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, and that's what scares me though, is with I struggle because of the fact I think he is QB proof. Like I think he's showing that where he's at, but it's just like, damn, like if he doesn't have Stafford, I think that production is going to drop him a little bit, or his production is going to drop a little bit. But at the
Devontae?
same, do what?
You talking about Devontae still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if he doesn't have Stafford, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'd pay it. Like, if he does have a healthy Stafford and Stafford's out there, I'm like, I could do it. I could see myself going for it. But I think all of these guys are guys. When I think of these guys, I'm thinking like I'm not gonna reach for them,
Yeah.
but if they fall to me in a fourth round, fifth round kind of slot, maybe then depending on how the draft goes or whatever, then I'm looking a little more into like, yeah, I can take this risk. This is a low risk, high reward kind of bet. But then there's certain people out there that they just take the best available and they just go with it. It'll be interesting as these guys, that watch and they see, who you take and how they draft.
I have a flip side question for you.
All right.
So I was talking to Sam about this earlier in the week because it was this time last year. Sam was like Lad McConkey. So I was
Okay.
like, okay, like I guess like the Chargers have literally nobody else to throw to. So and then Lad McConkey ended up being dominant last year. Like
Yeah.
no matter what metric, how you want to look at, how you want to slice it
Yeah.
up, Lad McConkey was dominant for being a second round draft pick last year. So my question to you is, I have mine. I'll give mine first.
Okay.
But do you have any rookies that you see being dominant that aren't like on the board or really prominent, maybe in the forefront of people's mind? Mine is one that you are actually already mentioned, and that's Emeka Buka, because
Okay.
Chris Godwin's going to be starting a year down. Mike Evans is older and
Mm-hmm.
has had hamstring issues for like 4 or 5 years straight. And Baker's got to throw. I think I like Cade Otton a lot, but Baker's got to throw to somebody. And if Chris Godwin is down for the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season, and he's a number 2, that could be a really dynamic number 2.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I have, and I think this person's on. It depends who you're talking to as far as what their radar is. I think we talked about one that I think is going to be dominant, and that's Travion Henderson out of New England. I do think he's going to be, but I think he's at the forefront. The other person, the other one that I can see being is Cam Scatterbo. I know he's gonna make his name on third down and goal line. And I think come that Thanksgiving time, you will start to see him kind of taking over a lot more of those touches. I think you'll see it early on in the season. The other one is I always butcher his first name, but I think it's Baishal Tutton, out of the Jags. He's with the Jags down there with ETN and Tank Bigsby. He's the kid out of
Yeah.
Virginia Tech. He's got some explosiveness to his game that I think I'll be honest, and this is just kind of a me take. I could see that running back room getting shaken up in a midseason trade somewhere that is sending one of those out to make room for him, if you want
Well,
me to be honest with you.
so actually, I saw a report Friday that the Chiefs, the Browns, and another I can't remember the third team. The Chiefs, the Brown, and there was a third team are all looking to trade for. Was it Brees Hall is on the board?
Mm-hmm.
Travis Etienne is on the board,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a third running back. Oh, Tyler Algier from the Falcons.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah.
all three of those running backs are on the board to be traded in the first couple of weeks of the season to one of those three teams.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think probably Brees Hall and Travis Etienne are gone by the beginning of the season, if not week 1 or 2.
Yeah, no, I could get behind you on that. There's more so two rookies. I think they kind of go hand in hand. It's going to be Colston Loveland out of Chicago. And I'm sticking to it. I'm still not buying stock in Caleb Williams. I'm not. I won't do it. And then the kid out of Indiana, Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
I
I've
don't know
heard
if
good
you've
stuff about
watched any.
Warren.
Yeah, the kid out of Penn State. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've watched anything, but he's got a chance to come in. I mean, he's got tight end one potential the
Yeah.
way they use him.
Yeah.
So those are kind of my rookies that are kind of like, and I would even reach for some of these. I'll be honest with you, I would reach for a Cam Ward. Like if I thought like, oh man, like I need if I don't get like a Jaden Daniels or a Joe Burrow or like a top end quarterback, I would definitely take like Like, even if I got, like, a Bo Nix, like, I would be content with that, but if I had, like, a Trevor Lawrence, Cam Ward, I would do it in a
Yeah.
heartbeat. So those are guys that I like. Now, the next question for you, who are some guys, high upside guys that you're willing to potentially reach for? I have a couple, and, I can start or you
Yeah.
can give me
You start.
yours. There's a couple, Ricky Pearsall is one out of San Francisco. I would 100% reach for him. Even if, like, let's say I solidified, like, the wide receiver room with whoever, and, even running back wise, like, I wasn't, like, very confident in my RB1 or RB2, or I wasn't confident in just my RB2, I would take Pearsall to play in that flex instead of trying to go get another running back to kind of solidify that room. He is one. The other one is, hold on, I'm trying to find it because I just had them all pulled up right here, and now it has left me. There it is. The other one, receiver wise, that I was willing to reach for was Cortland Sutton out of Denver. I would definitely reach for him. He's one that I would be willing to pay a little bit more for. And then another one that I think has high upside with his quarterback now, and I think I wouldn't say he's shown, but he had a lesser quarterback last year, would be Calvin Ridley
Yeah.
in Tennessee. I think those are three receiver guys, and then I can give you some running backs. Another guy that I like that I would be willing to pay more is Jacoby Myers. Now that
Yeah.
he's got Geno there, I would take that. Running back wise, I wouldn't reach for Tyrone Tracy, but I would pay the price that he's at. But
Yeah.
Jordan Mason would be the other running back that I would be like, there's a chance there in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He's got it in Minnesota. He's behind Aaron Jones. I would be willing to bank on that high upside middle of the season, and he's kind of taken over. And Aaron Jones has a 3-game slip with he's dealing with a hip injury or whatever it might be. I feel like it's always his hips. Those are guys. And the other one too, and I think this is on everybody's mind, but you just hope to God that he slips to you, is Charbonnet out of Seattle,
Yeah.
out there with Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker always deals with injuries.
So that's the other guy. Kenneth Walker was the other running back that was on the board to be traded.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
yeah,
glad you say that now.
yeah.
So yeah,
So
he's on the
yeah,
board.
yeah, so I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan of Jordan Mason. The other kid that's interesting, and I've seen a lot of good stuff about him, is the Croxy Merritt kid out of Washington. The kid that the NCAA kind of screwed him, and he wasn't going to be eligible, so he kind of bet on himself.
Yeah.
He's like the Commanders' like third back right now. Well, now he's the second one since they just traded Brian Robinson. Um, and then I think Braylon Allen is a guy that's really high upside that I would pay an extra price tag for. Like, I would pay around early.
Well, I mean, you're saying Braylon Allen. Like I said, I think Breece Hall's going to be out of there. So
Yeah.
if you take a reach on him, he'll end up being RB1 in a
Mhm.
possibly. I mean, normally when Justin Fields is on your team, you have one of the better running back or one of the better rushing teams in the NFL that year. So that's definitely probably the best one on the board. That's like kind of
Yeah.
sleeper right there.
Now, give me your thoughts. Now, there's two more that I struggle with in the running back room as I do fantasy drafts and I see stuff coming out. What are your thoughts first on Alvin Kamara? Is that a guy that you would pay the price tag for? I think right now, let me look. Hold on. Just make sure I'm not speaking poorly here. His average draft, his ADP is 15, so early second round. Are you willing to pay that? Are you not?
I am, just because he's basically been team proof for his whole career.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he is such a great pass catcher. He's like a poor man's LaDainian Tomlinson. Yes, he's a good
Yeah.
rusher, but there's some games where he gets just as many pass catches as rushing. And anytime you're a struggling quarterback, young quarterback, your best friend is the tight end and the running back check down. So,
Mhm.
especially on that team, the way they're running or the trend they're on. And his offensive coordinator is Kellen Moore this year. And Kellen
Mhm.
Moore is a creative guy. It comes from that Boise State mindset where trick plays, inversion plays, all. So Alvin Kamara would definitely be a guy. Alvin Kamara and because Rattler has a big arm, I'm staying away from Chris Olave because he just can't stay healthy. But
Yeah.
before he got hurt last year, Raheem Shaheed was somebody who was like, he had like
Mm-hmm.
6 or 7 50, 60-yard catches last year. And if he stays healthy, him and Jamison Williams from the Lions are
Lions.
the two speedsters that are like, if they stay healthy and play 16, 17 games this year, they could be
Mm-hmm.
double-digit touchdown wide receivers.
Now, so my second guy is James Cook.
Yeah,
James Cook, you willing to pay his price
yeah,
tag at
100%.
the 13,
Yeah.
the 13 spot? You are.
Now that they got the contract, all that stuff done, enough
Okay.
time where he can get in the last preseason game and get his feet wet and all that. I think James Cook is a 1,800 yards from scrimmage. He had 16 touchdowns last year, and that's with Josh Allen at minimum stealing 6 of them from him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watch a lot of Bills games, so he could be 1,800 yards from scrimmage and 12 to 14 touchdowns again. That's a top 10 running back. So again, when you're drafting a guy in the first 20 picks, you want them to at least finish top 10 in their position in the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's about all I got, man, as far as fantasy. I guess the last thing, and then we'll move on. What do you think, and I've seen a lot of toss up on this, what do you think is the best pick to draft from this year?
The best what?
The best pick. So like the 1/7, like do you think it's the 7th? Do you think it's the 6th? I've seen lots of people talking about the 6th.
Honestly, man, this is something I don't get too caught up or wrapped up in,
Okay. Yeah.
because I think the only pick I've never had is like the first pick in the draft, which is probably the toughest because you just don't want to you want to pick somebody that's bust proof. And
Yeah.
that's what I've had a couple guys in the gym ask me, like, man, I got the first or second pick. It's like, pick somebody who you know is just not going to be a bust. You
Mhm.
want somebody who's going to finish top 5. You don't want a high ceiling, low floor kind of guy as your first round draft pick. But as far as any other pick other than that, honestly, I've had a lot of like mid to late round draft picks, so that's where a lot of my experience comes from. And especially when you do like the snake draft where it revolves back around,
Mhm.
I've had that 11 to 12 pick a lot. And it's like, I'm getting the lower end of the top 5 to 6 receivers or top
Mhm.
5, but then I'm getting the same quality in the second round of the wide receiver running back again. And then when it comes around, it's normally like, oh, Jalen, and this year Jaden and Josh Allen are still on the board. So my third pick is normally one of those dual threat quarterbacks, and that's kind of
Yeah.
been my strategy. But I honestly can't say. I would say anything outside of the top 3 to 4 picks is probably probably 5 and beyond is probably a pretty sweet spot to be because you don't have the pressure of
Yeah.
picking probably a potential bust.
Yeah, and that's where I was getting at. I don't think that the first 4 picks, I don't like them. Doing mock drafts and seeing different stuff, I'm like, I'm not crazy about those first 4. I'm in a 10-man and I got the 7th, and I'm like, I'm pretty happy about the 7th.
Yeah.
You can do some damage in that range. Because you can get guys that, they might not be the number 1, but you're not banking on, you're not hoping, like you said, in that
Yeah.
early part, you're not hoping for people. You're not taking bust. You can just get reliable, proven guys.
Well, one last thing. Who are a couple guys, we're talking about reaching and buying at face value. Who are a couple guys that you think are already at the end of their rope? And if you see them drafted in the 4th or 5th, 6th round, you're going to be like shocked to be like, dude, what? I'm not sure if Caesar watches this or not, but then I saw Caesar draft Travis Kelce in the 4th or 5th round last year. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Okay.
Chiefs are not. He is
Yeah.
not. He's about a year past. But I was like, man, he's so distracted with the Taylor Swift stuff. Even as a Chiefs fan, like he is not going to be a good fantasy guy. He's going to be there for the
Yeah.
playoffs and the big games, but that they. So who is your we'll call it, who's your Travis Kelce of this year that if he's
Oof.
drafted in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round, you're like, oh, I'm glad you picked him there because I was waiting for him maybe in the 12th round.
Man, I'll be honest with you. I got 2, and I'm making sure I'm not missing anybody because I'm sifting through again. Because I made the mistake last year, and I think I overpaid for Debo. I was
Yeah.
expecting a
Yeah,
lot
you did.
more out of that, but I overpaid for Debo, and it was one of those situations where I mean, and you know how it is. You have it in your mind, and your mind's made up that this guy's gonna have a year, and and it happens to everybody. But the guy that I would say off rip that I would stay away from is DK Metcalf. I would fade him personally. I just think there's going to be a lot more usage out of the tight ends. I think it's going to be a run, dump. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to utilize the tight ends a lot more. He would be the receiver that I would fade as well. There is another one that I would fade in that like 4th, kind of 5th round-ish area. And that is, who was it? Oh, yeah, Olave, they got him kind of slated high. He would be the one. And then running back wise, 100% am fading Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
100% fading that one. The other one I'm fading because I made the mistake last year as well, but nobody saw it coming because he would have had a great year, was Pacheco. Nobody saw him coming and missing that year. If he stays healthy that entire year, I think he finishes RB in the top 5.
Yeah.
I think they would have utilized him a lot out of the backfield, and he would have been a big piece for them. But yeah, Aaron Jones and Pacheco, I would not pay those price tags. And I think a lot of people are high on Pacheco. I mean, I was looking at it, and they got him slated at like the 20, and you're just like, ooh, like
Yeah.
I'm not paying that for RB1, especially when you can get RB1s like Tyrone Tracy in like the 5th and the 6th. There was another RB1 that I saw that I was like, that's insane that he's down that far. It's Javonte Williams for Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going way down, and I mean, I'd take him if
Yeah.
he fell to me in like the 5th and solidified my running back room.
Yeah.
I would have no problem. I wouldn't fade him, but people are gonna fade him, and he's gonna slip into somebody's lap and win a couple of weeks for you.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, man, do you want to cover a little bit of baseball with this little
Yeah.
bit of time we got
Yeah.
left?
Let's cover
All right.
baseball in the last segment.
All right, baseball last segment. So I want to get your thoughts, man. One, well, we're just going to go through and talk about the standings right now, and I want your thoughts looking at it from a mile-high view. Did you see this coming? Did you not see this coming? So we'll start off in the American League East with the Blue Jays at the top of the division, the Red Sox 4.5 back, and the Yankees 6 back.
I did not see that coming.
Okay.
I thought the Orioles were more likely to be where, and I think it's something we talked about. This is probably
Yep.
one of our first shows. I thought the Orioles would be where the Blue Jays are this year.
Mm-hmm.
I guess when you really look at the framework, look how their team has been built. They have had some injuries. Bo Bichette like sparked for like a year and a half, and then he kind of just has some knick-knack injuries, kind of slipped, and now he's like back playing solid ball. And Vladdy, that has seemed to be a good investment for them. But the Blue Jays are probably, I don't know if they're the biggest shock, but they're definitely in the top 3 biggest shocks to finish this year. That just in general, I just thought the Yankees coming off the year they had, acquiring the people they did and whiffing on Soto, which was a good thing for them, bringing in Goldie and Bellinger. I think the only thing that doesn't shock me about the Yankees is that Garrett Cole went down for the year, and that has come back to bite them in the butt pretty bad. But yeah, the Blue Jays is definitely something I didn't see coming, and it's shock. But I personally like when the Blue Jays are good. But honestly, the MLB is better when anybody in the AL East is really good.
Yeah. No, I agree. I second everything you say right there. Moving on to the American League Central, you have the Tigers, the best team in the American League, with the Royals 10.5 back. So the Tigers clearly running away with it. I'll go ahead and start this one. I saw it coming. I said it early on. I thought the Tigers had a chance. They were kind of my dark horse. I think people people that know ball knew that they had a chance with the pitching staff that they had, and then the young talent that they had as well. So I'm all in. I like the Tigers a lot. Give me your thoughts.
Same, you kind of convinced me at the beginning of the year, kind of when you mentioned things that you did, I kind of looked into it a little bit. I was like, yeah, um, as a Tariq Skubal, he's just been dominant across the board. And I saw a graphic earlier today, the MLB put out all the leaders, and like he was like top. He was definitely top five in everything, but some of the metrics he was like top 2 to 3 in all the metrics. I think everything except for wins. I think he was like fifth or sixth in wins.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like, he's been a dominant force for them, and then, like you said, their division has been down. I thought the Reds were gonna be a little bit better this year. Their division's down, not as competitive as I thought it was going to be, top,
Mm-hmm.
finish from start to finish, but I think them being the number 1 team out of the AL this year was much due, and that was a good call on you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. AL West, this one kind of shocked. It's shocking me. Astros at the top of the division, Mariners 2.5 back, Rangers 6.5 back. Give me your thoughts on that. Did you see the Astros? I didn't. I personally didn't see the Astros taking the lead. I thought the Mariners had a better chance coming down to the wire. I think it's gonna come down to the wire, but I really like the Mariners still to win that division.
Well, I think the biggest shock to me was going into the year, I thought the Rangers in general would be better,
Yeah.
uh, to finish the year.
Yes.
But I personally did, and even how I drafted in fantasy baseball this year, I thought the Mariners would be a tad bit better, really more consistent throughout the year.
Uh-huh.
But the Astros being on top doesn't surprise me because cheating allegations or not, like they've just been one of the better franchises in the last decade
Uh-huh.
by any metric of how you want to slice that cake. So the Astros just seem to have a very good organizational structure, and that typically leads to at the end of the year, the Astros are first or second in the division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the Astros, they just have been, regardless of the cheating allegations and everything else. I mean, they've been one of the better franchises in the decade. Moving over to the National League, you got the Phillies at the top of the NL East with the Mets 7 games back, and then the Marlins 15. So the Phillies kind of running away with it. Did you see that coming? I know we talked about it. I did. We talked about the Phillies being really good this year. And then I know that people were buying stock in the Mets. So give me your thoughts.
Again, more of the shock was the Braves being as terrible as they've been this year.
Yeah,
So
no.
that's been a little disappointing. The Braves are the MLB is better when it's at its best when there's a good mixture of old high-paying franchises that are great and small market teams that are used to being good that are
Mhm,
great, and then sprinkle in one small market team that is having an exceptional year. It's a good storyline, i.e., when the Brewers are good, or every 15 years when the Marlins are good, or what have you.
yeah,
Uh, but no, again, the Phillies are another team that, I mean, you have the Chase Utley, Cole Hamels, Ryan Howard era of reign of power, when like 5 or 6 years where they were good.
mhm,
Throw Jimmy Rollins in there, and so I think you go back 15 years, 20 years. The Phillies they've done a good job of with their farm system and then acquiring 1, 2, you had a
mhm,
Kurt Schilling's 15 years ago, and then a Bryce Harper, 6 years ago. Like,
mhm,
they do a good job of having a good mixture of farm guys and bringing in free agents. So again, that was something you talked about. That's another good call. The Mets to me are, I don't know, they're like the Brooklyn Nets. It's like they spend a lot of money every year, every couple of years, and never really pans out. They make a lot of big splash moves and never really pans out. And even when it does pan out and they make it to the playoffs, they crash and burn in the playoffs. The Mets haven't really been solid franchise when it comes to like tangible things since the Keith Hernandez days, or
yeah,
maybe that they had that run with like Carlos Beltran in the early to mid 2000s.
mhm.
Other than that, like the Mets have just been an overspending but underperforming team for me. So I definitely give it to the Phillies on that one.
Yeah, and it almost seems like the Mets every year, they go get somebody
Yeah.
that, like, had a great year the year before or 2 years before. I
Yeah.
mean, the one that sticks out to me is Daniel Murphy,
Yeah.
and it's like, damn, dude, and then it just never pans out. Uh, Another one, Robinson Cano,
Yeah.
they overpaid for him. So it just sucks, if you're a Mets fan, you're just like, like, shit, happened again, like,
Yeah.
another year. Moving on, the NL Central, your Brewers being the best team in baseball this year. I will be honest, it kind of came as a shock to me. I thought the Cubs would run away with that division, and they have not. The Brewers have been hands down the best team in baseball for a long stretch now.
Yeah.
I would say a majority of the season, and they have been cooking. Give me your thoughts. I mean, I know you're excited about it. You're excited to see what happens, but you got the floor.
I'm trying to, as a Brewers fan, I try to like temper my excitement.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen this story before a couple times. Yet '09 when they had Sabathia for 1 year and
Mm-hmm.
they made a great playoff run. That was magical. Run in the year with Evan Longoria for with like those were two great runs from small market teams making it. We had some great seasons with Prince Fielder and Ryan Braun and Ben Sheets,
Yeah.
but I think this ball club is definitely collectively top to bottom, pitching, fielding, defense, small ball, like all the facets of the game and coaching. This is probably the best modern day Brewers team that's been put together. And the biggest thing that I think they can carry this because they're not like leading the league in home runs or leading the league in strikeouts. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
the way they're playing ball and winning games can and should translate into making a very good playoff run this year. And I'm hoping that they can at least make it to the NL pennant game or pennant
Mm-hmm.
series.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for. I did think the Cubs were I thought this was gonna be a good pennant race until like coming into August, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the two teams would separate themselves. I mean, the Cubs just seem to have more juice. Pete Crow Armstrong had a lot of juice in the beginning of the year. They had a lot of great storylines out of Chicago, but I think they just kind of ran out of steam, and the Brewers caught fire at the right time.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm interested to see how that shakes out for them and for the Brewers. And then the last one, of course, the NL West. You have a very tight race there. Dodgers and Padres. Padres leading it right now, 1 game up. And I believe did they finish the 4 game set today? Was that the last day? Was today
I'm
the
not
last
sure
day of the four
actually.
game set? I think so. But I know they just played a weekend
Yeah.
series. Who do you like coming out of that to finish it up?
I guess I'm gonna pick on this with more of my heart and leave the stats and my mind out of it. I want to see the Padres come out.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I just I've always been like a small cheer of the Padres. I've never really been a hater of the Dodgers. I actually
Mm-hmm.
used to like the Dodgers a lot, especially when they had Adrian Gonzalez and Carl Crawford and all
Mm-hmm.
those guys in the early 2010s, late 2000s. Clayton Kershaw, like early Clay Kershaw, was one of my favorite pitchers. But the way they've constructed, and I'm not a I like baseball the way it is. I don't want baseball to have a salary cap. But the
Mm-hmm.
way they've kind of found the cheat code to salaries and all that, kind of like the Philadelphia Eagles, it's like you don't hate the player, hate the game. But for some reason, like I think the biggest thing is because I love Freddie Freeman. I don't like. I acknowledge and respect Shohei, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as much of a fanboy of him as everybody else seems to be.
Yeah,
And
no.
I don't know what it is because when I see a Shohei clip, I don't ever scroll by it. Like I'm like, dude, he's just launched that ball. He just ripped a 98-mile-per-hour slider. Like he's amazing. But the way people fawn over him and suck him up is just like, like he's not better than Barry Bonds. I just say that, or
No.
Griffey, or Mike
Yeah.
Trout. So, but I
Yeah,
get it. He's great.
the glaze is
Glaze, yeah, that's the
insane.
term I was trying to
Yeah.
look for. That was the modern
Yeah. The
slang I was looking for.
glaze yeah, the glaze is insane. I'm with you, man. I hope the Padres pull it out. I think the Padres got a good chance. I really like their pitching staff. I really do. So I hope they pull it out. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Playoff baseball is, its own thing, man. People don't understand. Like, playoff baseball is amazing. I don't know if you've seen any clips of Arian Foster talking about it
No, I
on his
haven't.
podcast, but he's getting into baseball.
Uh,
And so he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, like this is dope." Like and I think I forget, I'll have to go back and find it, but I think he's actually started like rooting on the Brewers. I think he was like
okay.
wanting to like root on the Brewers maybe. I
Yeah.
think I'll have to go back and find the clip of it, but yeah, he's on a podcast. It's like microdosing or something, but Big T from Barstool keeps telling him like, "Dude, playoff baseball is different. Like it's intense, it's fun." So I'm excited, man. I think there's a lot of good stuff coming up. Fall's always a great time of year. Basketball's, about to be on us before we know it. And, baseball will be done and then football will be right in the middle of everything. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to keep this going every Sunday.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's been a good podcast. It's good to be back.
Yes, yes,
We definitely got to mix some college football in next week. The NFL starts with the week after that.
yes.
So we'll have a lot of juice, and then what playoff baseball starts in 3 weeks.
Oof. Let me see. Let me see. Give me
I
2
think it starts like
seconds.
the weekend. It normally starts the weekend after football starts. NFL starts.
Yeah, it is. It starts like middle of September. It's like
Yeah,
that, like right after like Labor Day ish time.
yeah.
Hold on, let me see here. If it would pull up, I don't know why my internet all of a sudden doesn't want to pull up while I'm trying to get through all these. No, it's a little bit later this year. Playoffs start. Oh gosh, do they start all the way at the end of September? Yeah. Wow. September 30th.
Wow.
So it is late.
Yeah,
I feel like that's later this year.
I do feel like that's later.
Wow.
Because I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
the World Series won't be until like November.
Yeah. Yeah. That's weird. That's weird. Okay. But yeah, no. So yeah, last day of regular season games are the 28th of November, and then wild cards start September 30th.
It's a good thing all the best teams in baseball aren't in cold weather cities this year. Or like if it is a cold weather city, they're playing like in a dome. Like the Blue Jays are in a dome, the Brewers
Yeah,
are in a dome. Because I
that's
mean,
true. I didn't think about that.
I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch a World Series like half the games being in Boston and New York. I love the teams, but cold weather baseball is not the same as warm weather or neutral weather
Yeah.
baseball.
Hey, Boston being in there that late though, that makes it fun. You see everybody out there in a hoodie and
Well,
freezing and
it looks cool, but it's just like
yeah.
I
Oh
I
no,
think of
as
it
a
more as a
player,
I think of the player.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
I was
player
like,
you don't want to do it, but as a fan, you're like, hey, it's kind of dope.
yeah,
But well, 10-4, man. Well, I'm glad we got to do it, and we will do it again next week.
for sure. Let's keep each other up to date on when we're traveling and all that,
Yes.
and we'll keep the content rolling. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Should have mentioned that at the beginning of the podcast. We really are. I guess I really suck at that. But make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, and we will
Yeah.
see y'all next time.
Yeah, and go check out Fox's interview.
Yeah, check out went live yesterday on Saturday, or not, it's coming out Monday, but it went live on Saturday. So check out
Yep.
Eric Fox's great podcast. He is a tremendous father first, great baseball coach third, tremendous
Yep.
human being second. So it was a great interview, a guy overcoming obstacles, making it through life and continuing on a great journey, spreading positivity. And we need more of
Yep.
that in life.
With the bananas. So
Yeah.
it's we love it. We love it. But
All right.
peace.
Peace.